Hey guys, it's Joe and Justin with V&P's Tuning Tuesdays, Season 2, Episode 14. Don't kill me if I'm wrong there, Chris. 15. Okay,
15.
So close. So close.
The first quarter of 2019 is over. We're well into the second quarter.
We did a thing this weekend. We went to Cleetus and Cars over in Bradenton.
First ever Cleetus and Cars.
It's quite the event.
Got to experience the craziness, including everything being covered in rubber.
I got to sit in a line for almost an hour and a half, waiting to get in. It was interesting.
Yeah, we got the park right next to Cleetus. Damn. So he's like, you can put your trailer and your tent right there because Jeremy's not here yet. I'm like, perfect.
All right.
It was a crazy ass time, man.
It was. That Burnout contest was gnarly. Did you hear who won the Burnout contest?
No, I didn't.
I didn't either.
No.
I know it was for $5,000, so like, I was like, man, maybe I should have brought something for a Burnout contest for $5,000.
People built cars just for the Burnout contest.
Mm-hmm.
Like you got extra points if you hit the concrete barrier during the Burnout contest. So hopefully your car was something that, you know, could...
Cheaply replaceable body panels type thing?
Yeah. One guy had a fairly nice diesel truck and he like touched the wall. And I'm telling you, man, those diesels, that was a burnout for the Burnout.
Yeah. Travis Schott says it was the Hellcat swapped me out of that one.
Really?
But Cleetus was driving that one.
Oh, he drove it?
He drove it.
Wow.
Like the guy that owned it or whatever, built it, drove it initially, and then I heard them put Cleetus in it. So it's like, did Cleetus win his own contest? Like, how does that work?
I don't know, maybe that, you know, that, I will tell you that's probably one of the more expensive vehicles that showed up to the Burnout contest. So if we were doing a formula of time, effort, and money put in, you know, definitely reap the reward, because with racing, it's often like that. Whoever has the best parts that make the most horsepower wins. Not always, but sometimes.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And then he had the test and tune going, and then demolition drags. I didn't really get to see much of that. We were kind of
we were packing up.
We were kind of in the mood that we got another 2.5 hour drive home. I don't want to be home at 2 in the morning type stuff.
Yeah, I saw some cars. We took the long way out of the track, and we saw some cars coming down the return road from the demolition drag with like bumpers hanging off and stuff like that.
Man,
so
it was pretty crazy though. If you guys are in the neighborhood, I'd say it's definitely worth stopping by and checking out.
Yeah, he's got Cleetus and Cars Houston later in the year, and then Bradenton again later in the year. So, and it was just packed with people. We sold all kinds of T-shirts, talked to customers, you know, the usual. That
Burnout Patrol, or whatever he's calling it, Clickbait Patrol?
Clickbait Patrol?
Yeah, Clickbait Patrol. Neighbor is a burnout machine. You hear that thing come in and it's like, yeah, that thing's actually making power.
And it's a mod motor, so it sounds good. You've had the pleasure of listening to a Camaro on the dyno for the past day. And it's just not quite like it. You guys are throwing some pictures up there and stuff like that?
We have a short video clip.
So do we want to tease them with the video clip now, or do we want to make them wait?
Tease them with the video clip or what?
Well, do we want to tease the video clip now and then make them wait to actually show it?
They've already seen it.
Oh, they've already seen it? Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. Flames everywhere.
They just saw a very short version. We'll have a bigger version later on.
I actually found pictures of when we first went over to see Cleetus. And, or no, I either found pictures or I was watching the video. A little bit of both. And Neighbor was significantly cleaner a year ago. Like, you will not believe what a year has done to that car.
Well, it's been a rough year for that car.
Yeah.
But it seems like he's getting his money worth out of it.
Yeah.
I have a couple questions and comments if you want me to go ahead and start hitting some.
Yeah, let's do that.
Fire away.
First, Jeff Smith is on the line. Clint Castleberry.
Jeff, thanks for watching. Haven't seen you in a while. Hope your dad's doing good.
Chris Tropia.
Christian right there. Where are you watching?
Ryan Reeve and Kellen Stone.
Kellen, what's up, man?
Are all on the line.
Awesome.
And with that said, I will go into some comments here and or questions. Bri2K, who chimes in often, says, hi, all from Phoenix. He says that bell icon really works. Be sure to remind everybody to use it. So yes, Tuning Tuesday is every single Tuesday at 1:30 Eastern Time. Hit that bell button so that way you get a reminder that we're going to go live. You can actually, Facebook and YouTube both have the reminder, so you can do that. We also have Burnout Box, which is now at 1:30 on Thursdays, to try to help with the time frame some too. Again, hit the reminder for that as well, so that way you can remember to be here. What were you going to say? Oh,
I think he's good.
I thought you were going to say something. Tim says, hey folks, I made an order for a fuel pump booster and thermostat yesterday, but he still has not received a support ticket to update my tune. Should he follow up?
So
you do not get an auto-generated support ticket for a tune update. You actually have to manually go in and select that you want a tune update for the parts. That'd be a very difficult way to get the systems to interact.
A lot of people buy those products that aren't our tuning customers. So yeah, you have to just purchase a $0 tune update. And you can go purchase it separately and just put in the comments that it was for order, blah, blah, blah.
For a thermostat and that stuff, and then we can get the tune update sent out to you. But yeah, it's a separate thing. You wouldn't get a auto-generated tune update ticket based on a purchase of just parts.
Yeah, and there's a tune update item on the website, and depending on the options, it's either zero cost or there's a fee if it's not a free tune update type situation. Sorry, what were you going to say, Carrie?
Tim says he came back and he says he did that. He says he'll try again.
If you did that and you haven't received a ticket yet, then just reach out to sales and support and confirm everything went through okay. And as long as everything went through okay, we should have it on our end of things.
Yeah, like Joe said, then we can determine if there's a problem. Like if you did the right stuff, we do want to know if you're not getting an email from the support case, because we just implemented a new system and there's a button for every single product on the VMP website, create support case when somebody purchases this. This is an internal feature and it costs like thousands of dollars to custom code into our new website, but it's meant to make that process work smoothly. So if it's broken, we need to know.
Mario wants to know, did you find out how to relocate the tensioner?
Mario, I have not had a chance to talk to Mike.
For talking about lower pulley stuff?
So I was telling Mario, he's doing some budget 8-rib stuff, and he was going to go with a 5%. But I told him a 5% overdrive balancer is technically only 1 more PSI. And he's like, oh, well, I want a 15%. And I'm like, well, you need to buy the low-profile tensioner. They're X amount of money. They're kind of expensive because they're billet, and there's springs and bearings inside. But I was thinking, with the 15% overdrive, you could theoretically relocate the stock tensioner the way we do with the 25% overdrive. And I thought we put it in the 8/10 rib video.
I don't know.
But he said he looked at the video and he didn't see it, so I was going to ask Mike if he remembered.
Yeah, Mike knows how.
Mario, I can basically explain. You drill an extra hole just to the right of the existing one for the small tensioner, and then you nut it on the back. And you can even use the same indexing hole and just rotate it. So the belt length changes a little bit, but it's a pretty simple deal, and you could try that. And sales and support has 3 15% overdrive 8-rib rings that we dug up out of stock that they're selling at like $200 a piece, which is like $50 off because they're discontinued essentially. Everything's gone to 10-rib, but Mario's already got parts for an 8-rib, and he's deleting the AC. So he's trying to do that whole budget thing.
That works.
And he's running 8s with a Gen 3 on a 6-rib. So he's hauling frickin' ass. Carrie, I don't know if I sent you those pictures to post sometime about Mario's car, but I can.
I'll double check before you go sending them again.
Cool.
But let me make sure.
Yeah, Mario 11 to 14 Coyote.
Okay. Donnie Roebuck says, hello all, great to be here.
Hey.
Shh. Arius Gaming and More says track attack.
Track Attack, yeah, we took Track Attack down to Cleetus and cars.
Blew out a few people's eardrums, had a good time.
I started it up and I went and talked to the Jet Dragster people and they're like, that sounded really good. I'm like, thanks, it's just kind of loud to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shelby Canada West says hello everyone, Joe and Justin and Carrie. Hello,
Hey.
Alexander. Mike says, does VMP have a shop car?
We have a few shop cars.
We have, yes. We have Rebecca's
We have shop trucks.
street strip car. We have all the employees' cars. We have some ones that I would just say are VMP screw around in cars. So, yeah, and like Joe said, like his truck, my truck. I mean, we race what we sell essentially.
But also we have Project Chucky and...
They'll talk with you about them.
All right.
Keep in mind that the fuel pump boosters, they're kind of geared more for returnless systems or systems that are operated at a lower voltage for a vast majority of the time that they're on, and then are only operated at higher voltages technically, or higher duty cycles when they're at wide open throttle or under boost. If you're going to run one of our voltage boosters in a system that is set up in a return configuration, it may be of utility to wire in a hob switch. I think the wiring is inside the box for the hob switch, isn't it the brown wire?
Yeah.
Or is that another control wire?
You can use that to turn the booster's voltage amplification on and off.
Okay.
And actually, it's normally open.
So it's a circuit that closes to disengage it, then opens to engage it?
So you actually need a normally
open switch?
Normally closed pressure switch.
Okay.
So it gets kind of complicated. And the reason for this is if you put 18 volts to both of those pumps all the time, you just generate a lot of heat. In the electrical wiring, in the fuel, because pumps generate a lot of heat themselves and they're recirculating it, so you actually heat the gas up over the course of driving the car.
Which is something that we don't typically have to worry about with cars that are operated at lower duty cycles or lower voltages when they're just cruising around town.
Because all the factory
keep that in
stuff
mind.
is 2-speed on GTs and variable speed on GT500s, so the fuel pump booster is essentially transparent as far as how it works and everything.
Nirvan says, hello everyone, just did the Fabulous Ford show at a new location at Anaheim Stadium. Only thing missing was the VMP booth. Please consider for your West Coast fans.
Oh man, there's so many, like this time of year, there's so many great places to be, just even within the Ford realm.
And even just within the Southeast, we have to be real careful about where we pick to send resources to, because we're so tight on weekends. Like, we could very easily have part of the crew out every weekend. People get burnt out real quick doing that.
Yeah. Geez, Joe, we freaking did it for years. Go to a race, drive home Sunday or Monday, go back to work.
Yeah.
Joe very nicely said,
I'd
like to have a day off, in the course of 10 to 14 days.
Yeah, something like that, like at least like one day.
Jed Smara says, hey everyone, first time to the track, went 12.3 at 116.
Nice.
Not too shabby.
Sinspot says, the other week on Tuning Tuesday, you said the S197 doesn't need subframe connects. Is that true if you're doing a motor swap on a 7 to 14 GT500 and putting down high horsepower?
I'd say that statement's still true. Like if you look at new edges, the Mach 1 and some convertibles, I think maybe all convertibles, got subframe connectors from the factory.
Bolt-in subframe connectors, yeah.
So like, you don't see any of that with GT500s from the factory or any S197 that I'm aware of. So
as long as it's not a convertible. I mean, convertibles need everything they can get, but yeah. And if you have a convertible, I do like the ladder style that gives you a jacking rail and ties in. I mean, Justin Young's cars got them. They're nice.
Yeah.
They're I think they're weight you don't need on a regular 197.
Travis Schott came back regarding Cleetus and cars. He says the next Bradenton one is November 23rd, and Neighbor can freaking rip it till she is flaming. Definitely cleaner for sure with Neighbor.
We're looking to work with Cleetus to get some upgrades on Neighbor, so that'll be happening over the course of the next month or two.
I think Maximum Motorsports makes suspension for Crown Victorias.
Really? I cannot believe the way he throws that thing into a drift. I mean, he's a freaking madman in a vehicle, so...
It's a long wheelbase car.
They drift easier?
Yeah. Long wheelbase is usually more controllable than short wheelbase stuff.
Interesting.
Eli says, have you seen people have issues with relocating the ECU and fuse box? I have heard there is enough wire on the 11 to 14s. I know whether may be an issue for daily driver, but I want to run a 4-inch fender exit from my turbo.
I know
a high fender exit?
Yeah. S187, there's a decent amount of wiring left over that you can play with location of the ECU a little bit. The S550 is a little bit tighter in terms of how much wiring you have left over. And there's only two connectors on S550 for the ECU.
Oh, go ahead.
I want to throw this out there in case anybody's interested. Kellen made me think about it. I ran across somebody local that's got some Coyote parts they're looking to get rid of. They've got some CJ exhaust cams, some Whipple 2.9s, a short block, basically an illuminator low compression short block. Please, if you have a VMP, don't use that. If you have a turbo, then that's fine.
Even then, don't use that.
Yeah.
if you're using any type of octane.
Yeah. So they got some ported heads and some other odds and ends, but it's basically a race team that runs Coyotes, and they've got some leftover stuff. So if you guys are interested in any of that stuff, let me know, and we'll try to get you together, or I'll try to go get the stuff.
Nice.
But they've got several Whipple 2.9 front inlet head units. If anybody needs one of those to replace a broken one or something like that, you know, you still have to have the rest of the kit.
I think Whipple sells the rest of the kit separate of a head unit.
Oh, they do. That's right. Yeah. You know, for like $3 or $4 grand, kind of like we do the same thing too, I think.
Yeah.
Shelby Canada West says, do you guys tune if car has off-road X pipes or no cats, if the vehicle is in Canada or no? So
whether or not we tune a car has nothing to do with whether or not the car has emissions components on it. So whether or not it has them, we'll tune the car. That's not an issue. We just won't shut the lights off for emissions components.
Yeah, we don't want to be party to using our products and our tuning services to violate emissions defeat devices. You know, to support. Emissions. We don't want them used as defeat devices. So.
So to that end, your car will run and drive fine. You'll just have a check engine light for the lack of catalytic converters or anything else you've done.
We'll still tune it, and it'll make lots of power.
Let's see here. Max says, hello, VMP.
Hola.
Looking for the off-road mid-pipes tune from Joe.
Off-road mid-pipes tune from Joe. Classic. I mean, that's not hard. It's just you got to be okay with the check engine light, so just keep that in mind.
Matthew says, y'all dynoed any modified 18 plus F-150s. What kind of power are they making? Are you seeing similar gains from mods like on the 18 plus Mustangs, like headers, etc.?
I've done a couple 18 F-150s, one of them with a Pro Charger and one of them with a CJ, and they seem to respond very well to mods. The Pro Charger truck, I can't even remember what it made anymore. I have to go back and look. We'll probably have a video out about that soon. It's Chris's 2018 F-150. But yeah, I mean, they respond well to power, or they respond well to modifications, and they make pretty good power in stock form.
Let's see. Coyote Kelly says, hey guys.
Hola.
Cameron says, hello, Team VMP. Thanks for the content.
Hola, Cameron.
Justin Forrest says 4 weeks with a smiley face.
Perfect.
So soon.
It's actually a winky smiley face.
Ooh.
Gino Davis says, just bought a 19 F-150 regular cab short bed. 502 wheel. What's best tune for performance? 91 or E85 or flex tune or?
If you're looking for all-out performance, E85 tune. Flex tune, I mean, arguably the stock tune is flex tune. If, I mean, 90 to me, 91 octane and performance aren't even in the same sentence. You can do everything you can from a tuning standpoint to get as much power out of the car or truck with the fuel that's available, and 91 is kind of like what I'd consider minimum for that engine. Whereas I'd like to see it on 93 or something higher, like E85 or race gas.
17 Roush Sam says, hey guys, I'm late, but I'm here.
Hola, Sam.
Dorian also said, hey guys, he's on the line also.
Hey, Dorian.
Cameron says, budget with 8-second times, ha ha ha.
Yeah, the cheap, fast won't be reliable. Reliable and cheap won't be fast.
Yeah.
Fast and reliable won't be cheap.
Yeah, this is true.
Gopher Chuck Game says, not much longer I'm making a mod of Track Attack on Assetto Corsa. Is it 900 horsepower? I want to be as close to as possible. I have someone porting the graphics over to the car in-game.
That was a little hard to follow.
Yeah,
I don't know about you.
It was a little hard for me for follow too. I just think I heard that there's track attacks going to be in a game.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I heard too.
Okay.
It'd be pretty cool. Let us know what you get, or how far you get with that.
What about VMP supercharger for Lightning?
Man, there. So I lit a little fire on the Lightning group, and I told them, if you make your adapter plate so it fits Coyote head units, I got all kinds of Coyote head units in 2.3 liter.
And I mean, they already have adapter plates out there for GT500
Yeah.
mowers.
So it's three or four lugs that are slightly different. I mean, probably bolted down and be fine, but nobody likes empty holes, so.
God damn it.
Joe, what are you thinking?
What am I thinking? You're the one that said it.
Everybody wants to use all the bolt holes.
There we go. There we go. That's more like it.
So, yeah, that's the story. Just use the big adapter plate, and you can run a VMP GT500 bolt pattern. And maybe if the guy JC changes the adapter plate, you can run a Coyote bolt pattern too.
Make good power.
Mike wants to know, what do you think of the DW400 pump? Any issues? Supposedly they have revised it with a new check valve.
Seems like a decent pump. Now that they have a revised check valve in it, I assume there will be less problems with hot restart and stuff. But seems to do well in the applications that people use them. But I don't think that that's a substitute for a return fuel system on a high horsepower car. I think that's a band-aid in the right direction for if you're talking about putting the DW400 pump in a stock hat, which I assume you are.
After saying all holes shall be plugged, Tori says he loves you guys.
I like it.
I'm good for
John
something
Hartman
around here.
says, Joe, I'm appalled.
Oh, John. You have children. Don't try and play pretend here.
Oh my gosh, the comments are coming in fairly quickly now.
All we need to do is make some
innuendos.
Innuendo statements that could be taken the wrong way.
So Ryan says, speaking of tune updates, I just swapped my Cobra Jet mono for the Whipple 68 Twin. I'm running VMP's tune and was wondering if I need a retune going to the smaller throttle body.
It would be a good idea to get a retune for the smaller throttle body. There's stuff that we do differently for the twin throttle bodies versus the monos, like the Ford Racing mono and stuff like
They
that.
kind of map differently, so
Yeah.
that's the good thing from a tune update. And you know, just to one up that, we have a twin 69 for 15 to 17, and we have one coming out for 11 to 14 too. So, bada boom, bada bang.
Bada beam.
John's like, I wasn't offended. Harry didn't mention my LOL.
I can just picture John saying that in real life. I think that's what makes it better.
Eddie says hello from California.
Hey,
Hola,
yeah.
Grant is on the line, says Justin Joe needs bowling lessons.
Grant, you know that I know how to bowl. We were in the wrong lane last night.
Oh, snap.
So like if the ball feeding machine is to my left, it screws up my whole game. Because I bowl way left of the lane. So when I'm bowling with the machine on my left, I'm restricted as to how far I can go left. And it like messes with my feng shui.
I hate when my feng shui gets messed up too.
See?
Yeah.
He knows.
Tim wants to know, while he's here, any 2020 GT500 updates? $1?
I think he's insinuating if we're going to get one for $1.
Yes.
I don't think Ford's really ever done the top tier cars as SEMA cars.
You know, yeah.
Unless you, if you consider the RS a top tier car, then
they did the RS. They did the Raptor last year or the year before as a SEMA dollar car, but they did not do the GT500 this year as a dollar car.
And I don't think I've seen a GT350 as a $1 car.
No, there's some stuff they don't like you messing with, which is silly because we just make everything better.
Chuck says, Joe, I'm going to bring you some chocolate milk next week. I told him it had to be Promised Land.
Promised Land.
You will learn the ways of Promised Land when you get here, Chuck.
I don't do chocolate milk.
Instead, you do all those nasty energy drinks like 3 times a day.
0 calorie.
You just need to do the meal replacement Promised Land drink instead.
Oh gosh.
They're like 960 calories in some of the smaller ones.
Joe,
you won't have to like eat anything if you drink that milk.
When Joe's got a hard day of dyno tuning, he's just like, hit me with some chocolate milk.
Yeah, it's what keeps me pumped up.
So Joe has a thing for chocolate milk, and he's making fun of me because I have a thing for Bang energy drinks. And
in my defense, you definitely drink more energy drinks than I do chocolate milk. And that's saying something because I drink a lot of chocolate milk.
I drink a lot of Bang energy drinks, and sometimes they come in here and the trash can is filled with nothing but
Bang energy drinks.
Bang energy drinks. Yeah, one day I should probably take a picture of it and have you guys guess how many are actually in there.
Hey, let's get a Mr. Fusion and we can recycle those.
I think the funniest thing about it...
Chris approves.
I won't go there now. We'll wait.
Sorry, you were saying.
No,
okay.
We'll circle back around if necessary.
Norm says, I'm bringing my 14 Roush F-150 over from St. Pete at the end of the month for a dyno tune.
Nice.
The only mod is a twin 67 throttle body. What horsepower increase can I realistically expect to see when tuned?
I think those things safely pick up like 30 to 40, but there's a lot of, and it could be as low as 20, but there's a lot of other things we do because the Roush cows are just incredibly mild. Soft shifts, torque reduction, throttle response.
Stock rev limiters, stock shift points.
You name it.
So it's
yeah.
It's about the whole package. And how much you gain highly depends on the quality of the fuel that you bring it in on. So like don't bring it in on Highway 87 expecting to make good power. And I'm not trying to make fun of you here. Just to clarify, I've gotten some messages sometimes where you called me out. No, I didn't call you out. I'm specifically citing cases of stuff I've seen on the dyno before and trying to make sure that you don't do stuff like that.
I'm having a supercharger installed. You mean I need to start running 93 octane?
Yeah, it's weird stuff. So what I'm getting at with that is just make sure you try to go to a station that has a decent amount of turnover and is of a decent quality. One of the top tier fuels.
And you know, like Joe said, it's the quality of the whole package. So not just the tuning ability, but the softness of the whiskers and, you know, other things.
Yeah, it's going to drive completely different. You'll have fun with it, man. Look forward to seeing you.
Just so for the record, Coyote Kelly says drinks a lot of them as well that you guys should appreciate.
Appreciate the bang.
Oh, man.
Arius Gaming and More says, Justin, best bolt-on mods for Bone Stock 14 GT track pack. I don't want to be gapped by Camaros and Chargers.
Tune in cold air, whether automatic or manual. I'm going to say, it's going to be no surprise to anyone, an 18 intake manifold swap, because I love the power band and the dyno results.
And the price point.
And the price point. And we did put a Boss intake on Chucky. We'll show you those results soon. There's a teaser photo coming soon. But yeah, just get some tuning, some cold air, some RPM, You know, exhaust is always good, but if you had to start now, tuning cold air is where it's at.
And in reference to 18 manifold, did we release / push the thing that we were talking about a week ago with 18 intake manifolds?
I don't remember. Can you whisper it to me?
Probably not. The microphones work pretty good.
Okay. Okay.
We'll circle back around. Check again next
Can
week.
you wink to me in Morse code?
I cannot. I do not know Morse code.
Okay.
I know a little bit of German, but I don't know Morse code. My priorities are all screwed up.
We have a slew of comments today, y'all.
Ooh, man. I said German and you bring Schlu out again.
People are...
It's been a while since I heard that one.
I have 3
Frisky.
pages of comments right now.
So I have a theory as to why Tuning Tuesday is busy. I think they're on here thinking we're going to give them like dyno results or something.
What would we have on the
I don't
dyno?
know. I don't know what dyno results we might have.
The Coyote intake manifold dyno results, or like the more exciting dyno results?
The more exciting dyno results, because there's several people on here from that group. But
This is true.
yeah,
Not yet, guys. Not yet.
not yet.
Not yet. It'll be
Soon.
coming though.
Judgment Day.
Donnie says, what is the maximum outside of tire to outside of tire width that will fit on your dyno?
Is it an
900.
86-inch drum?
85. It's an
85?
odd number.
Okay.
But we put Raptor with big swampers on it at Ponies and the Smokies. We put Steve Gellis's Raptor on there, and literally only half the tire was on there. And the other dyno guy came over and said, hey, I did this one time and they've chunked really bad. And I said, I've never had that happen. I just double strap them so in case it was to walk
Can't
around.
walk sideways.
Yeah. But
To that end, we've never really developed a metric for it. Would you say that we want at least 3/4 of the tire on the drum?
yeah, especially
And,
if it's got any horsepower, if it's a diesel. You know, if it's a dually, as long as the inside tires are on the drum, we're okay. I mean, I think the dyno will physically accommodate like 100 inches if it's a dually. Otherwise, we want maybe like a 90
No more than
5-inch
95-inch
maximum.
track width?
Yeah.
So I'm going to try and fly through some of these
Got it.
because we're like almost 4 pages deep.
22 minutes.
So
Got it.
it's just more than normal.
Wait, what's
Israel
post-
says, what mods would you add to a 13 Boss 302? Keep it NA or boost it?
Yes.
Depends on what you're going to do with the car. Although to that end, your boss was boosted and that thing was a blast.
VMP Gen 3, 1,000 turbo horsepower, E85 fuel system. Send it.
Yep.
I mean-
TR6060 swap eventually.
Everything you can do to a Coyote,
Or,
you can do to a Roadrunner, and it's better. It's got better heads.
to
better
me, the
cams.
Roadrunner's like a Gen 2 Coyote.
Basically. That's what they modeled the Gen 2 Coyote after.
But I'd say that, like Justin said, do that, and then down the road, think about a Calimer Stage 3 MT82 or a TR6060 swap, just to help try and keep that MT82 alive, or just to help solve the MT82 problem.
Jed says 18 GT with a Roush intake and catback, NA on 93 with a tune by VMP. What increase would I get? And is it okay for me to use Boostain to bump up the octane to 95, 96 on a stock tune to get to 11s?
You could probably do that. And by probably, I mean, I'm not going to promise you any type of ET by putting Boostain in it on a stock tune, but I can tell you that putting Boostain in it won't hurt it on a stock tune, and it will make more power with Boostain. As long as you're not on, as long as your starting octane and quality fuel isn't fantastical, and then you put Boostain in and it's only a tiny bit better. And not to say that the Boostain is only going to make it a tiny bit better, but in terms of how close you already are to MBT, how much better are you going to get is going to vary. But power with cold air 93 VMP tune on an 1819 car. Most of the stuff that I've cared about dyno numbers on already had cold air intake and long tubes. And most of the dyno numbers that I have experience with are with auto cars.
Yeah, so they're a little bit lower on the auto. I mean, and this is manual or auto?
I don't think he deferred whether it was manual or auto.
I mean, we could say anywhere from 420 to 450. You know, the Boostain, long tubes, add a little bit more on top of that. So, I mean, the best 18 up setups are running cold air tune E85 headers. They'll make 500 wheel.
Auto.
Auto, yeah. So I mean, that was a baseline 420, 430, so, or 410, 420, so stack on 2030 for a basic cold air in tune.
Yep.
All right, next one.
And then, hey guys, 07 GT, thanks to some clearance issues with installing my new intercooler piping, I may have to remove my BMR's front sway bar. Any downside with handling on the street? If I leave it off, or should I try a smaller sway bar from a V6, etc.? Not a daily or a corner carver. Thanks in advance.
As long as you got a rear sway bar, it'll still be fine. Steed is actually making a heavy-duty rear sway bar.
Interesting.
Which is kind of smart.
Poor boy says, afternoon BMP. What would the Holly Sniper intake? What would this Holly Sniper intake good for? It wasn't one of the intakes in the challenges.
We're supposed to be getting one of those. Let me see how that's coming.
I'd say it's good for power adders over 25 pounds, like if you're a turbo or turbo or big Century setup, and you're trying to do stupid stuff. And not that running 25, 30 pounds is stupid, but I mean stupid in terms of like stupid high horsepower stuff.
Yeah.
I'd say that that's a good reason to put a metal manifold on there. But I like the 18 manifold Boss CJ setups more than I like the metal intakes out there.
Yeah, generally the plastic intakes actually make more power than these fabricated sheet metal intakes.
If you really want a metal intake, put a plasma intake on there.
And
spend real money.
They redesigned those.
Oh, they did?
With a longer runner to try and get more power out of them, because they really only made a difference above like 40 pounds.
Interesting.
Yeah, I guess the volume versus the runner length and the speed, velocity, and everything. There was a trade-off there.
Gopher Check says, my 08 GT500 says it 250 miles to empty. I'm not sure. Must be referring to something else up in there that I missed.
It's all good.
Coyote Chris says, VMP team, tacos today. Two-part question today. What lightweight wheels that aren't drag wheels and tires do y'all recommend after dealing with so many cars? He says, my car is an A10 with bolt-ons.
We've actually got a company we're working with for 18s and 19s that are very high quality forgings, and they're lightweight. I think, do you remember the specs on those, Joe? 22 to 24 pounds.
I don't remember the weights on those.
And they're available from like 9-inch up to like 11.5-inch. So get in touch with me if you're interested in them. And we're a dealer for that company, so we can sell you some. I was thinking about putting some on the 18 just to get rid of the ugly.
Ugly stock wheels?
Yeah.
That and if you talk to Justin about that, you don't like that option. Forge Star D5s or Weld S71s or S77s, I'd say, are like the other go-to.
Okay, yeah.
Like I know there's race stars out there and they're cheap and they get the job done, but to me they're not all that light for how much money you're spending on a wheel. So take that with a grain of salt.
Big Daddy Trucker says, hello everyone.
Hola.
William wants to know, do you guys offer any kind of financing options on your Gen 2R kits?
Did we ever get hooked up with a firm?
No, we're not offering any financing right now, so.
I'd say one of our dealers could probably hook you up with that.
Yeah, some of our dealers
TPS Motorsports does financing.
Yeah.
I don't know if Juggernaut Power does. I want to say that they're one of our dealers, but yeah, there's plenty of dealers out there that do it. We don't currently offer it.
Randy wants to know, how much horsepower can a Gen 2 TVS put down with a 69mm pulley on an Illuminator engine? Fuel upgrades are on the way, 1000 cc and 900 horsepower worth of pump.
850 to 900 wheel, depending on the exact configuration.
Yeah.
At that level, camshaft upgrades, having good exhaust, good headers, that all makes a difference.
Jay wants to know, where would you say is the best place to get boost reference for a boost gauge not off number 3 port?
Not off number 3 port. I assume you're talking about 5 liter. With that assumption, it is the dirty air hose coming up from the bottom of the lower manifold.
Dirty.
Exactly. You have to cap the portion of it that goes to inlet a supercharger. Otherwise, you don't get a very good boost signal from that port. But as long as you're willing to do that willing to do that, I'd say that's probably the best place to get boost reference or boost sensor, whatever you want to call it.
17 Roush Sam says he loved the oil pump video. And
Nice.
he also says getting ready to oil the oil pump and crank gears as they are in stock.
Nice.
Cool.
There's a little bit of a tongue twister. We got 14 minutes left, guys. Fire.
I'm working on it.
Not you. I'm talking to them.
I don't know if we want any more questions. How much will the high flow cats hinder my catless power plant, and can you tune it back if it's hot? If it's a lot?
So, high flow cats in terms of power typically don't make significantly less power than a non-catted setup. The biggest drawback is durability on high flow cats on really high horsepower cars, but also that you have to enrich it to command cat protection to try and cool the cats. So from a fuel consumption and durability standpoint, it's kind of better to not have cats on a high horsepower setup. Just keep in mind that by taking cats off, it is no longer going to be an emissions compliant car. And if it comes with a VIN, technically it needs to be an emissions compliant car. And if we're tuning it, you're probably going to get a check engine light for no cats.
There you have it.
Oh, David Ray says, hi guys, Joe has tuned my car for the new 79mm pulley. Can I switch back to the E85 without changing the tune? It's a bit wild on the street with the 79.
I'd have to look at your specific combination again. I think you said you were on a 79 and you're asking if you can go back to pump gas. I would just want to make sure it's not a 79 on a Gen 3. Because if it's a 79 on a Gen 3, do not go back to pump gas.
It's a lot of boost.
It is.
And you know, for that matter too, you can always go up in pulley size without messing with the tune, and just make that physical change to where the supercharger makes less boost, and that'll slow you down.
85mm?
For a Gen 3, yeah, 85 would be nice on pump gas.
Yep.
Any cons to PPRV delete on an 03 Cobra?
I would say just the reduced reliability of the setup due to the aftermarket hoses and clamps in there, and the fact that if you're installing it yourself, chances are it's the first time you played with fuel hoses and you don't really know what's tight, what's loose, and some of the tricks to that stuff.
A little bit longer crank time on startup, but that's kind of whatever.
Yep.
He came back and said pump gas, just pulley.
Yeah, if it's just pump gas on a 2300 blower with a 79mm pulley going to a 93 octane tune and not touching it should be fine.
So Dale says, hey guys, the Coyote swap Fox body's coming back. I'd love to see. Would like to know when.
So is he asking when?
I think he's asking when is the Coyote swap Fox body going to come back?
I think he'd be referring to Neil's car. If you're referring to Neil's car, that's probably going to be a couple weeks. I know that he just got a tune update from us to do a boosting and a 79mm pulley. He wants to run that out at the track and then bring it to get dynoed. If
That was the blue one that was here?
Yeah, it's like the bluish greenish car.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anthony says, love my Gen 2, making big power.
Awesome.
Good to hear.
Let's see. Rodrigo wants to know, Joe, are you going to the track tonight?
I don't think I am. But that's not to say that something could change between now and 5:30, 6 o'clock. Today's Tuesday.
Tomorrow would be Wednesday, yeah.
I don't have plans of going, but I defer to my previous statement of I don't know what's going to change between now and 6 o'clock tomorrow. I might get a bug up my ass and take my truck, but I don't know that that's going to happen, so I don't want to tell you that it is.
Brandon says, hey, from Saskatchewan, Canada. Chris Colin says, is it Cologne? Colin? How do you... Colin?
I'm not sure.
It's Tuesday night and you're feeling under the weather. Chicken noodle soup or whiskey shots?
Ooh. Probably chocolate milk.
Corey says, how much positive knock would you consider normal? I know 0 is ideal. Some logs I have some knock and some I have none. Never had any more than 1.0.
I'd say that if you're only seeing 1.0 as a max, it's completely fine. I don't like saying that any level of knock is normal, whether it's negative or positive, because it varies so much that just the knock sensors working is normal. I'd say the point in which to worry about it on pump gas is the point in which it's either consistently above 4 or you hear audible. If you hear audible on a car with knock sensors, it's pretty extreme. And what do we mean by audible, Jeff? Yeah, exactly like that. That's what it sounds like. You probably want to cut that snippet out and then just play that, and then we can let people know this is what it sounds like when you get knocked.
That might make an interesting video.
Oh no.
Oh man.
Jason says, Joe, I have the same issue when I bowl. I need both lanes. Going back to bowling.
Yeah, exactly. See, it's a thing.
Luke says, I haven't had a sway bar on the front of mine for years and hasn't noticed anything significant. DIYK wants to know, why doesn't BMP make a supercharger for the GT350?
So we make a super